Yeah, welcome. They're done.
Thank you, my brother. You're welcome.
Marriage matter. Men with the marry self, I hate them.
Man, where they marry?
Men with the marry, I hate them. Oh.
Ah, why? Why?
Because, you know, marriage is a job on its own.
Ah, sure.
Marriage is an occupation.
I know. Definitely.
Marriage is a career.
Sure.
Marriage.
I believe every married couple understands that.
Are you sure?
Yes, you may shy away from the fact, but that is it.
Marriage matter. And one other thing that leads to divorce in marriage is communication breakdown.
Very well, in many ways.
Yeah,
It does.
of course. When you call yourself a married couple or you're in a relationship where you are not communicating with your partner.
No, that's not a good thing. You just have to carry your partner along at every point in time. You see, whenever you want to make decisions, and whenever you feel, oh, something is not going right in an area, in an aspect, your partner should be the best person you can talk
To talk
to.
to. But most of the complaints in marriage today, it's either the woman says that he does not listen to me, or the man says she does not understand me. Now, when you talk about the word listening and also understanding, you need to listen to understand, and you would have to be understood when listening to.
Oh, yes.
But so when these two things are not in relationship, how then can we merge two people together?
Yes, you see, I'm always disappointed when I hear such things that people say, my spouse doesn't listen to me. Then I'm like, when you guys were talking initially before you became couple, how do you do it? How were you people able to talk to yourselves? Do you get
That
it?
leads
When
to
when he
marriage.
was telling you those sweet words, when he was telling you the things you wanted to hear, those, that brought you those, temporary memories when you thought about him, what he said. How do you guys do it?
Yeah.
Were you being fake then, or are you trying to be the actual person you are now? No, you see, people get things wrong. Well, I want to understand that by the time people start living together, there will be issues. Things will be coming up left and right. Then we should be able to identify what is happening, then see how to tackle it together.
Yeah.
Do you get it? My issue now is what two of us need to come together and talk about. Then we tackle it because it's her issue. Because when this affects me, it's not going to be me alone.
Of
It will be
course.
two of us. It will
Of
affect
course.
our marriage.
Of course. I would a bit come on men a bit on that aspect. Of course, in this part of our world, men usually approach women.
Yes.
Not
In Africa.
in Africa.
Oh, yes.
Men usually approach
Yeah,
women.
oh, yes. Oh,
So
yes.
why is it that from the beginning you were this communicative, you were this, proactive in your conversations with her. You were so nice, and whatever it is that you did that got her to your heart was in a way of communication
With an understanding.
with an understanding.
Yes.
And then she was really listening to you because you were communicative. Because you must have communicated with me, and I must have understood you by listening to you.
Oh, yes.
To be able to tell you, yes, I do.
Oh, yes.
Of course, somebody asked, would you marry me? And then one person would respond, I do. Because there was a communication there.
Oh, yes.
So then what happened to that proactiveness in communications in marriage that is not there anymore? Are we going to say, is it because the man is now, he's now gotten what he wanted? And men can do this very well. He's now gotten who he wants to get married to. So the woman does not look, special to him anymore. All the lyrics, all the sweet lyrics, you are the only
the rhymes.
chicken in my
The soup.
pepper soup. I can't sleep without you. The good morning messages, how was your night? The good night, you are the star in the dark, every night I see you special in the cloud. Why there no God they come again inside my
You see,
why are we frustrating ourselves?
the FROWS.
I'm listening to you, Don.
One thing I understand is this. You see, we need to check our attitude in everything we do. either as a man or a woman. Let me bring this in. I spoke to a friend, an old-time friend. She told me about her cousins that has issue with her husband, and they were planning to separate. And I'm like, your cousin, do I know her? She said, yes, that you should know her when we were in school in those days. Then that prompted me. I'm like, is that not the lady that pushed you out of a room? She was like, yes, you're right. I'm like, oh, she's still the same person you're talking about. I know her very well. This fair in complexion lady. That what happened to her? She said she's been having issues with her husband and they've tried to sort it out, but it doesn't work. The guy doesn't listen to her. I'm like, well, I don't know the guy. If I have to be fair to the guy, based on the little I know about your cousin, she was a tough person. Because I can't imagine the kind of person she was that could push you, a lady, out of a room because of little misunderstanding. And I realized then she decided not to listen to you. She thought she was right. You know, she's somebody that whatever she says is a final. She doesn't. So I'm like, if she's still that same person and she took that into a marriage, no man will take that from her.
Because the vast majority of marriage that leads to divorce today is either indirectly or directly ignorance.
Yes, thank you. Ignorance. And when I find it difficult to watch my attitude towards you, I can easily talk to people that, you know, FROWS has done this to me, FROWS has done that to me. I should be able to look at the good aspect of you, then check myself. Am I doing it rightly? Am I doing the right thing? I'm just talking about FROWS that is not good, is this, is that. But am I doing the right thing? In all fairness, I should be able to check myself. Okay, I've done this. It doesn't go that way. And it doesn't have to be that. So as a husband, I need to check myself that what I'm doing to my wife, is that the right thing? Oh, she wanted to talk to me. I don't have the time. As a wife, you should be able to check yourself. Okay, this man had offended you, good. But he's trying to create an atmosphere for two of you to come together to talk. Then you start ignoring him. Ask yourself, if you were the one someone ignored, how are you going to feel? So these are areas we need to, because communication breakdown is as, you know, serious as infidelity in marriage.
In marriages.
Oh, yes. Because when you choose not to talk to him, when you don't put him first.
How then do you have good sex when you can't communicate? Because I love the way you just point into communication are also part of the reason why infidelity could also play a very big role there.
Oh, yes.
Because if you're not communicating with me as a husband, you're not communicating with your wife. And to tell your wife the things you've noticed during sex that you may not like anymore about her, that you used to still want, is part of the things you saw. Those tactics you saw, and you wanted to marry her, but those things are not there anymore sexually. Communication is not something you should take out of that aspect. Darling, I beg, the way you did do that time, Alpha, on the prayer meeting where you call the go this day. Now the prayer meeting.
Maybe prayer meeting don't take the position of the sex in the house.
Which is another thing I think we need to look into. Don't come and bring your religious practice into your marriage, whereby instead of your religious practice to beautify your marriage, elevate your marriage, rather breaking it. And in your mind, I am pleasing God as a spiritual woman, as a spiritual man. I'm pleasing God. The first priority I have is to please God. Nobody matters, my dear. And nobody matters.
You should understand the moment you become married, you are subjected to certain tasks. About that woman, about that man. You get it? Which communication should make you people come together? If you don't discuss about yourselves, you will discuss about your children.
Of course.
You will discuss about their education.
Of course.
You will discuss about their well-being.
Of course.
The path you think is the best for them to go in life. You get it? So when you guys find it difficult to discuss these issues, what are your plans for these children? You are not being sincere to yourselves. Then when your children start observing mom and dad don't talk, you see, why is that reacting in this way? Do you get it? Why is mom behaving in that way? then you are not giving them good information about yourselves.
About yourself. I love what you just said. You're not giving them good information, not about men out there. Master, it's about you.
Yourselves.
Don't think your children will not come and be seeing other men, or your daughters will grow up and think men are stupid.
Debbie.
You are the
Debbie.
one that is stupid.
Oh, yes.
They will tell you, my father is a, you know, people will say it. They won't say all men are stupid.
Oh, they won't say
will
all
use
men
their father as reference. So don't think, that's where you need to play a good role as a father there. Don't think that ignoring the most important thing in marriage, which is communication, would generalize men to, no, you are the one.
No.
You are the one that is being
I am
stupid
myself.
there. I am myself. You are you there. Everybody has a way of communication.
Oh, yes.
And there is no way a marriage can hold without communication. Like we said from the beginning, somebody must definitely say, I want to marry you.
Oh, yes.
Another person who listened and understood
And
marriage agreed to say, yes, I do. So now, why are you taking such an aspect of marriage, communication, out of it, thinking you've gotten the person already? Communication does not matter anymore. She's my wife. And men could go as far as communicating their wife negatively to their friends, to their colleagues at work, which I think is still a very bad thing to do. It's a bad behavior. I don't think it is healthy or positive well enough to discuss your partner to a stranger, if only you have something good to discuss about them, but not negatively. You don't go to your friends or colleagues, and the things you should have first seek your partner opinion. Because there are things you would need a man's opinion. If you're in a relationship as a woman, and you know that what you have in mind, what you have in your thoughts, requires a man's opinion, and you feel it's not something you can discuss with your father, and you have this man in your life, why do you think the man is there? Just for sex? No. The man is there in your life for things like, for issues of life.
Oh, yes.
How to amend things together. So I think your partner in a relationship is the first person you should discuss, sensitive matters.
Sensitive matters. Thank you. Let me bring this in. It's one thing to talk.
Yeah.
Do you understand? It's another thing to give attention. Then it's another thing to have this absolute understanding.
Of course.
To understand your needs in this marriage.
Of course.
To understand our needs in the marriage.
Of course.
Then to see how two of you can agree, because you can always agree. Instead of you acting violently as a man or a woman, even when your wife turns you down, when your husband turns you down, you can always create an avenue to just make sure you explain yourself better.
Yeah.
And when someone turns you down, come back, in a peaceful way. Represent yourself. Come back when you know, okay, this person, in fact, if I'm a woman and I realize I talk to my husband, he doesn't seem to listen to me, I will try to work on him, work on his time. Realize when he wants to have time to himself, when he wants to make himself happy, I will go meet him there.
I love that.
Represent.
I love that.
Just the same way. Okay, as a man, my wife is not listening to me now.
Yeah.
She has not been listening to me for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Then how does she react these days? Let me take time out. Create a special time to make sure I meet up with her in certain aspect. Maybe when she's having fun with herself, or in the midst of her friends, let me surprise her with a gift. Let me create a better atmosphere so that we can agree and come back to our normal ways.
Yeah, and I love what you said there, that a woman should either both ways. Ways, should learn and also understand their partner body's language.
Oh, yes.
So when they are in the mood, you live together. That's your partner.
Oh, yes.
Of course, you saw the person, and then you're like, wow.
She's wonderful.
She's wonderful. And then the lady too is like, wow, what a gentleman.
Oh, I see.
And your parents were like, are you sure? You're like, Mom, I would disown you people if you disagree. If you disagree with my choice of a man,
God.
I would disown you people. Now, it looks as if it's the marriage that is now disowning you now. But some men still suck in communication. But then, that's where we need to realize and also understand that communication is a skill that needs to be mastered. It is learned. Communication is not a gift or a spirit whereby God instilled on any man. But you learn it. Why am I saying you learn it? Toddlers, kids that are born, babies that are born, learn to speak the language they heard you speaking while they grew up. And if you're unable to speak to as well, or either, excuse my word, dumb or deaf, you learn a sign. That is also a language. That is also a communication tool as well. Because we cannot take signs out of marriage in the ways of communication. Not every woman can speak louder.
Oh, yes.
You know, some men would even say, I married my wife because she's a quiet type. There, have you observed her body reactions? Have you observed her signs? Have you
Towards
observed
certain things.
Towards certain things. Because you know yourself.
Oh, yes.
You marry this woman because she know they talk loud. So you love gentle women. Thank God you don't carry gentle woman come out. But how then are you able to discover and understand when she is in need? So this is a woman who still will not talk when you're making a mess out of her in the house. But then she will give you signs. And you know what they always say, that a good night's sleep always rub on the wife or on the face of the wives in the morning. You know, you see them smiling up at her. You say, go to say, oh, Betty, be like say last night, you finished work. It be like say, last night you finished work. These are communication. These are languages. But then, if last night
was something
else, believe me, you may get your breakfast as early as 11 a.m. in the morning, because which kind of breakfast did they give you?
That is if it comes at all.
That is if the breakfast comes at all. You that messed up throughout the whole night. Men need to understand from their wives that women are not the type who really talk much when it comes to certain things in marriage or in relationship, because she wants to play safe. You know, we live in this part of our world whereby I give that to African women. Respectful, and the Bible said a woman should honor a husband. So generally, naturally, God has installed that spirit of honor in women. So even though we know women are, yet when it comes to certain things, they still want to weigh it before they throw it on their partner. So now, during the times she's unable to speak out loud, for you to have a full understanding that you feel in a man that anybody who wants something should speak. If you can't speak, my dear, I don't know how to read body language. My dear, body language is also a very quality skill of communication, which we should pay attention to.
Yes, body language is also very important.
Yeah.
You know, when a man starts sensing, you know, there's this strange reaction to a very sensitive man.
Yeah.
A strange reaction about his wife, about his partner, about a partner.
Yeah.
One should be able to come out, oh, my dear, oh, darling, oh, babe, why this funny reactions? You know, jokingly.
Yeah.
Do you get it? But I want to say this. Some women are tougher than men. Do you get it? Okay. You know, anybody can be bossy. Anybody can, you know, can act awkwardly in relationship.
That's true.
I once know a man that received these naughty slaps from his wife whenever they venture into argument. In fact, before he gets to argument, do you understand? He had to call elders. He didn't call pastors. He called elders in that vicinity. That this woman is doing this to me, and I may take it up against her. It has happened once, second time, third time, the fourth time. Why all those rubbish? If I, as a man, I choose not to touch you, then what kind of person are you that could raise your hand at me? You were slapping me, beating me up, as if I'm a child.
Yeah.
To that man that has this extreme patience.
Yeah.
Do you get it? So for any woman or a man, you don't have the right to be bossy. You don't have the right to talk down your partner.
Yeah.
Some men can be awkward, but I want to believe a lot of women also. Look at a woman that could drive out a mother-in-law from the house, but she's not ready to welcome her people. How do you think she will talk to her husband?
Yeah.
You get it? You see, when you have people working under you and you have this naughty approach to them, whenever they make you angry, don't mind me, when that anger overrules you,
Yeah.
it could be your husband or your wife.
I
You
love
would
that.
talk to them anyhow.
I love that. I love that. I love that. You were in courtship, and then you saw your partner how he communicate with people around him, so bossy, aggressively, in such a mannerless behavior.
Oh, yes.
And then in your mind, as a woman, you are there in his car, air condition. You feel like the madam that I love the way my husband is bossy. He's coming on you. Don't
It
worry.
will come back to you.
It's coming on you, don't worry.
Because if you can't check in,
There.
and this is one of the factors anybody should take
look
note
into,
of.
yeah.
Okay, when this man was angry or when this lady was angry, I talked to him or her, and the person listens.
Yeah.
Try to make amend. Oh, does that mean what I said there was too much?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Next time, I'm not going to talk to them in that way.
In that
Okay,
manner.
next time, I heard of a governor in Nigeria that whenever he talks to people and the wife tell him, no, my dear, these are your subjects. You don't have to talk to them in that way.
Yeah.
He will pick his wife and drive down to their house in the middle of the night
Yeah.
to apologize to them. So
Yeah.
that was the day one of the, guys he went to meet in the house. The wife was like, is that your boss? Is that
Yeah.
the governor?
Yeah.
Came to meet you in the house, and through that he was able to understand the situation in the hearts of those that were working with him. That is somebody that listens to his wife. He doesn't see himself as the governor.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
He was able to identify himself with the wife.
With the wife. Yeah.
He listens to the wife,
Yeah.
and the wife had this feeling that my husband is the governor, but I can talk to him.
Anytime. Don't
He
come and bring
doesn't
your
see himself
governorship
as
into marriage.
this almighty in that position.
I love that. Don't bring your governorship into marriage. Don't bring your pastorian into marriage. Don't bring your spirituality into marriage.
This is somebody that
Don't
sees your
bring
nakedness at
title
any
into
point in
marriage.
time.
Please, this is marriage.
This is
This
marriage.
is marriage. Don't bring your title into marriage.
No. Whatever you be, your husband is your husband, your wife is your wife.
Don't come and be telling
No, give them that respect.
Don't come and be telling your husband, don't you know, I just got a promotion at work. There is a way you be treat you waiting. My dear, if your husband says, hey, lady president, come and hang your leg. Hang it nicely
Throw
for
it
him.
open.
Throw it open.
What are we talking? You start seeing yourself as one big man, and so you are not big man. Then your wife
can't talk to you anymore.
again. What kind
Why
of
you don't
rubbish
marry-
is that?
Did you marry her to come and enslave her?
You can be anything you are. Just make sure you give your spouse the respect they deserve.
Yes, of course. When it comes to communication, we need to respect each other, because that's where I love the way relationship is. In relationship, we tend to forget who is older. We become equal. Get away, you know, say on a normal ground, they're not born aware to call you by name. Well, but don't go for love. You don't go fall in love for that side.
You go carry your mustache, please.
Play. You carry your mustache, play. You went there for the call Bossu. They call you by name. Say, Alpha today, Alpha, baby. Look at your beard.
Call you.
Look at your beard. This your. That is the most beautiful thing. That's what we call union.
But why should your spouse be scared of you? I've heard this, that some men will tell you when they close from work, they find it difficult to go back home because they are always afraid of the pressure they are going to meet with the wife.
Some wife too always says that when their spouse close from work, they find it difficult to expect them to get back home because of the pressure is bringing from work.
The monster is coming.
The monster is coming again. When he gets to the house, right from the gate, the kids are all shivering. The kids are running to go and sleep. The kids are not even comfortable anymore. Your atmosphere is deterred.
You can imagine that. Then I said this.
Your atmosphere is a bully.
It's something else.
It's something
what kind of woman are you?
What kind of man are you?
If your daughter cannot confide in you,
if your son cannot confide in you as a father,
no, your daughter should be able to talk to you as mother.
Your son should be able to talk to you as a father.
When your daughter
starts carrying his issues to his mother,
then you should know there's something wrong with you.
You should know you have failed as a father.
Something is wrong with you as a mother.
You have failed as a father.
Because when your daughter could easily go to a father and tell dad, this is the situation with me, what a lady should tell a mother first.
Because when your son meets this beautiful lady in town and he's unable to tell you, Daddy, there is this fine babe, you know, Dad, I'm now an adult. There is this fine babe I saw in town. Dad, I would love to tell you some things about. Rather, he takes it to his mother.
He may be a tyrant in his home. I did not doubt that. But the moment your daughter did not have confidence in you as a mother, Oh my God.
She may be stubborn in the house. I do not doubt that. But the moment a daughter will now take an issue she should have shared with her mom to you as a father, then you, mother, I think you failed.
Madam, Popsy Pale, I beg your matter be one kind though. If your son cannot see you that this is my father,
Let's argue that.
and use your factor to deal with other men out there. If your son now see a man or a family friend or someone he can talk to, what he should discuss with you, and he decide to discuss it with a family friend, a father, someone in your status, then something is wrong somewhere, sir.
Something is wrong somewhere.
Something is wrong
and
somewhere,
I
sir.
love where we just dived into with the kids and also the family aspect. You are a father, too rigid. Your kids can't even talk to you.
The communication the children should benefit from the parent is not there. When your wife can't talk to you, your sons can't talk to you, your daughters can't talk to you, or your husband cannot talk to you.
Like a boss.
Your husband cannot talk to you, your daughters cannot talk to you. What kind of woman are you?
What kind of marriage
I saw
is
a
this?
situation where a lady told the mom that, "Mom, I thought I would never see you again because of the relationship between the parents." You get it? She thought the mom had gone and she had gone for good. So why should I be in that shoe that my daughter, my son can't talk to me?
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
How will it be when my wife find it difficult to talk to me? She now decide to see someone else, a friend, or people around us, are those in better position to talk to.
They have confidence to talk to. That's wrong.
Then
it's wrong.
I need to watch myself.
It's wrong. I always say that if you are siblings within yourself, you don't even need to be best friends within yourself. We understand what best friend is. You can be siblings and don't have the same interests.
Oh, yes.
I believe that if you want to say someone is your best friend, possibly you found the same interest you love about yourself in them.
Oh, yes.
Which you may not find in your siblings. That's fine. But your siblings should be your close friend. Not best friend now, but your close friends. If you cannot communicate with your siblings, and in the extent of talking to your dad, you can't talk to your mom, you prefer to tell this sensitive issue to your friend's parents. That doesn't speak well of you at all as a parent.
No.
Because when you bring an issue that I feel you should have discussed with your mom to me, and I know your mom is alive, you live with your mom, to me, because you are my son's or my daughter's friend, the first thing that pops through my mind, before I give you an answer for that issue, before I'm able to advise you on that issue, the first thing that pops into my mind is, what relationship is between this person and their parents? So I'm prompted to ask you, have you discussed this with your parents? And that's where you get issues like when children tells that parent that I can't tell this to my parent, they wouldn't. If your parent would not understand you, but you know within you that there is another parent that could understand you, then your parent should be able to understand you in that matter.
Thank you. You see, a boy told his mom at a time that, why is it that anytime you observe anything or I tell you something, you always go into condemnation? Instead of you to make corrections, you go into condemnation. How can you compare me with so person? And it doesn't go well with the mother. But when I heard it, I'm like, you see, the boy was right. Next time, he may decide not to tell the mother certain things because he has this mindset that if I tell it to her, she will condemn me. A lady once said, even when I'm having health issues, I find it difficult to tell my mom because the way she's going to react about
Communication.
We are talking about communications.
Yeah.
Then how do you take it when people talk to you? Apart from the fact that you don't listen to them or you listen to them, how do you address these issues?
How do you communicate? Yeah.
How do you take it?
Yeah. Communication.
Do you condemn them
Yeah.
or do you provide solutions to their issues?
Yeah.
Do you use it against them?
Yeah.
That is why couple, find it wrong. Your judgment of your spouse sometimes, apart from the fact that you listen to him or her, do you judge him on that issue? Do you judge her? Do you push her aside?
Yeah, on that.
Do you push him aside? Do you find fault in him?
Yeah.
Do you make him a priority in what he has told you or what she has told you? Do you now look for a proper solution to it that can give him this confidence, assurance about you that no matter how difficult it may be, my wife will still look for a way to get it settled. No, my husband will look and have a need to make sure this is well sorted out.
But such idea would come only if there is a communication.
Yes, a good communication.
A good communication there. Welcome to the FROWS podcast. This is a FROWS podcast where your voice is heard. Our communication today, it's about communication in any relationship or marriages. We've realized that most couples, before they become couples, have very wonderful communication in their courtship, in the relationship. You get instances like, he's the first person that texts me in the morning. She's always the last person that says hello to me and good night to me at night when I get back from work. But now you are in marriage and unable to do all those things anymore. If you're a man who is unable to still tell your wife how beautiful she is, those lyrics you used to give to her until you got her, you went to learn all the communication skills you could learn, went to listen to music and watch movies, and brought out all the lyrics and all the logics and the magics and all the style you could learn to win her over. Now she's your wife. Communicate now. You are just doing, I'm busy. I beg, when I come back, we'll talk about it. I don't think that is fair. Communication breakdown leads to divorce in marriage. Communication breakdown is one of, if not the foundation. We spoke about, infidelity is one of the reasons why most couples want to get divorced. And usually happens to women asking for a divorce if they are unable to talk to this lovely angel they married that is turning to a beast right before their eyes. And we understand as men, women love communication. You can get a woman all just by talking.
Oh, yes.
Am I lying?
No, very well. Very
just
well.
by talking.
Very well. I remember as a young guy, I had a girlfriend then that was talking to my friend. Do you know one thing I like about him? His company is always fun.
Communication.
She said there will be a topic to discuss at every point
Communication.
in time, and he's always lovely with
communication. And this is one of the tips among the 5 tips we have for you today for effective communications. We are giving a bonus tip for guys out there that do not know how to approach this lady. You need to understand how to communicate. Communication is vital. Before a lady knows who you are, understand yourself that communication is one thing. And it is the way you communicate with her that will give her an idea of who you truly are. So how do you want a lady to see you? Like a poor man, a rich man, but a man who has a future ahead of himself? Is all about communication. How are you presenting yourself to her? What are the things you discuss with her? Do you just call her and ask her, have you eaten today? Or you call her and ask her, what is going on in her life today? What has she done today? How productive is her life? Women love men that are communicative.
Oh, yes.
And not just communicative, but important communications.
Oh, of course.
Don't just come here because I'll be talking about movies,
good
I can't be
values.
talking about music, I can't be talking about what happened yesterday before you talk about life. Things that partakes to life. Talk about things that had value. You spoke about value. I love that.
Yes.
Talked about how she could
move forward
in life. Things that would benefit her in life. Women love this kind of communication. And in marriage, we understand that the moment wives start having kids, they start losing confidence. But the only way I think a man can bring such confidence back to his spouse is through communication.
Encouragement. You just have to talk. You need to talk to her.
You need to talk to her, and she needs your encouragement.
You need to make her, not only talk to her, you need to make her understand in your conversation that she is well valued. Yet, in that position, she's much appreciated.
Because at the end of the day, a body that is not what it used to be, it is what it is now. Because she wants to be a mother.
Oh, yes.
For you.
Oh, yes.
She wants to be a mother for a generation because of you.
Oh, yes.
She wants to be a wife, not a wife for herself, but a wife for a husband. And that husband is you, in you. But then I noticed the only time most couples or anyone in a relationship have deep conversation is during argument.
Yes. When argument breaks out, you see, they have time to come together because they want to make their points known. They want to make their opinions known by fire, by force. No, it doesn't have to be that.
It doesn't happen to, yeah.
You see, when your spouse understands that, it takes much priority in your thoughts,
Yeah.
in things you do. When your wife realizes that, she's much prominent in your decisions. You guys may not have to go into lengthy discussions.
Of course, because there's an understanding.
Because there's an understanding. So by the time you guys will come together to talk, it will be like you are finalizing what you have been doing undergroundly.
I love what you said there. So what we are saying now, if the key to communication is understanding, then the key to understanding is listening.
Listening, do you get it? Okay, when I want to do this, I considered my wife in my decisions, and I do it. When she wanted to do certain things, she considered me, and we realized this has been happening. Do you know positivity is something that we connect, either you like it or not.
Of course.
Positivity is we connect.
Of course.
It's not until when you exhibit it.
Yeah.
By the time you take your decisions, your step, and I take mine here, we come together. It will reflect. It's like smoke. It will come out naturally. And when two smokes mix, you can hardly differentiate them.
Of course. Let's see what James said. Chapter 1, James verse 19. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Then verse 20 said, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God deserves. Now, let's fast forward to 27. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceived themselves, and their religion is worthless. In this aspect, God even understood, accepted, embraced religion here. That you that says that because of my title religiously, there are things I can't discuss with you, wife. You should not ask me the affair of the church. Don't ask me how I preached today. Forgetting that it is only your wife that can tell you the truth about your mistakes on the pulpit today. Church members may not be able to tell you your mistakes because you cannot go and come and go and tell your spiritual father say he make mistakes.
But yet, the pros, if you are a servant leader, Jesus was. You get it? Peter asked Jesus Christ many questions in many ways. Jesus did not sit in the position that I'm the Messiah.
How dare you be asking me?
How dare you to be asking me? If you want to check hierarchy, it wasn't Peter that should be asking Jesus certain things.
Yes, sir.
But Jesus was the servant leader. He listens. And he always come out with a very good answer. So as a pastor in the church, it's not only your wife that should be able to talk to you about certain things. When people observe those that are close to you,
communication,
those that are in your pastoral board, they should be able to tell you at every point in time, sir, this is what I understand about what you said. And I realize it doesn't go your own
communication.
Ways. How can we, maybe if we take it this way, don't see that, who is he? When did he become a pastor? How can he be telling me what I said is this, what I said is that?
But today, congregation,
see, none of this pastor on earth is as powerful as Apostle Paul.
Go meet your pastor, come to tell and say, why you talk with you talk.
Then are we walking in line with what Jesus said?
No, we got
Is there spirit of meekness in you?
I think we go to church to listen, not to talk. That's what we go to church to do.
Why does Bible say ask?
Ask. No, that one are material things.
No, it's not about material thing. No.
Are you sure?
He said, if any man needs knowledge, let him seek it. You ask. You need to speak. You ask. You see, there are godly disagreements. Do you get it? If I have an understanding, Bible is there for all of us to read. If I have an understanding that this is this, I've read the scripture, this is how it occurs to me, and I was in church, the man of God preach in another dimension about what I understand, I should be able to ask questions. That this is what I read in the Bible.
Of course.
And what you said has a different meaning to me.
Okay.
How does the two work together?
Okay.
This is my understanding, man of God. How can you explain this?
Because human beings have different ways of perceiving things.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I can't just sit down and believe what you said is the final. Then I'll be battling myself with certain thoughts. No. That is why anybody should ask questions at any point in time. And you don't take offenses in the question they ask you.
But that does not mean because it is good and it is okay to God to ask questions because you want to learn.
Oh, yes.
And then in a case of asking questions from your spiritual leaders, either as a woman, women can ask questions. That does not mean you should now come and be carrying your phone at 9 p.m. at night. Come and be calling your pastor and be asking your pastor questions at that time of the night. Those are not the kind of time you should be communicating with a pastor.
No.
The pastor have his own wife.
He's a married man.
That's the time you should be spending with your own husband.
Yes.
Stop being too religious that your husband came home from work and he is ready to have his meal, and then you are telling him the reason why the meal delayed is because pastor has called, and you've been on phone with pastor for over 2 hours discussing what?
Imagine.
And your husband is there.
Imagine.
Your husband may not talk because he's also a bit religious too as well. He's seeing it from other way of but then an anger is piling up in his heart.
It will be a pile-up issue. But if I may say, what are you discussing with your pastor for an hour, for 2 hours on phone? Are you part of the sermon he needs to study for that day? Oh, yes.
Communication.
You see, we are talking about communication.
Yeah, communication
with
marriage,
your husband, with your spouse, with your wife. Communication with your pastor, with people around you.
Yeah.
Communication with good understanding. Good judgment.
Of course.
Communication that when the person that wants to talk to you understand that, oh, there will be a good landing point here. They'll feel free to talk to you. Yeah. Because sometimes when a man feels, even when I tell her, what will she come up with?
Yeah.
She wouldn't have anything to say. When a woman feels, if I talk to my husband, he's just going to be judgmental about it. My talking to him will not be consequential.
This is where
we do not take it from wrong aspects.
This is where we always say that communication, if communication was the priority of that relationship, you should have known as a woman that this man is not the one they talk to and he listening. But you went ahead and said
to get married to that
marry
person.
Him.
Oh, no,
and
no,
now you are not going around telling pastor, I can't talk to my husband. When I talk to him, he's always judgmental. Osafo, please, can you help me talk to my husband, please? You are selling the dignity of your husband's out.
No, it's a dignity because for
you are also selling the dignity of your husband because no, it's not a dignity. For here, I disagree with women. You knew the man is not the listening type. Let's be realistic here. Not listening is also a communication. Not listening is also a communication.
But in a situation where...
And you knew this man is that type that he doesn't really pay attention to certain things. You knew from the relationship. There is a woman for him too. Let him meet a woman of his type who would not be using that as an issue.
About that kind of
as an issue. Let him meet a woman of his type. You knew he's a man whom before you can have something out of him, you will talk from now to tomorrow. You knew before you got married to him. It happened in the relationship.
But that is there. What if this man knew what he was doing from the beginning? What if he chose to put up some attitude to attract this lady?
No. People are different. People are different in their measures. People are different. Let's accept people are different. I may love to tackle issues around me by not communicative. I may like to be the type who does not like to listen to people. And I've been like that since I was born. And things are working for me. There are those out there who are wealthy in that manner, in that behavior. That is whom they are. There are partners for everybody.
Oh, yes.
There is someone for everyone.
Oh, yes.
And you saw that in him. You saw he is always the aggressive type with his workers. You saw how he always speaks aggressively to his mom. You saw everything. And he gives you reason while he was a bit angered with his mom. He gave you reason in the relationship. My mom did something. I don't like the way my mom speaks to me. I don't like when people speak to me like that. You should know the man, you cutting him, that this man does not like the way people talk to him in that manner. Even if it's his mom, he will tell his mom, mother, for this one, I beg, shift. You saw that.
Oh, yes.
You knew that about him. God loves him there. Let's stop being judgmental. God loves that man there. You saw that. God brought you into his life. Now you are married to him. You are not calling your pastor, telling your pastor to help you speak to your husband, that even his mother cannot even. You are diminishing the dignity of your husband. Stop that. You saw that signs there. You knew him there before you got married to him. I won't accept that. Everybody are different in their own aspects.
Yes, I understand that because she saw those indications.
You saw them. That's communication. And you said you wanted to marry him.
That is But in a situation where you marry someone that hide his behavior, his attitude.
Hide his attitude. That one too.
Do you get? You can't blame the woman. Do you get it?
In this aspect, too.
Those that we hide their attitude, they will give her space.
The man after was very beautiful.
After the first child, the second child, or the third child, then the man will start behaving. It's always something else when I see women in that position, and they will tell you, and it wasn't like this.
It wasn't like this.
Then when you try to inquire that, probably she's also doing something. By the time you get closer to them,
love this.
By the time you get closer to them, you will realize this is a natural woman. This woman is not bad. She been making mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes.
But you will realize these are just pardonable offenses.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Do you get it? By the time you dig deep into that man, then you realize even as a man, you can't deal with this man. So how do you expect that woman to survive it? That is where deception sets in.
Deception.
And people are like that. It's vice versa.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So in that situation, there can't be communication.
There can't be communication.
There can't be communication because this man knew what he was up to from beginning.
And this was not the man I used to love communicating with.
He has his plans well sketched.
Like we said in divorce, that a lot of people would be what they want to be just to get married to you because they want some one or two kids out of you, and then the real them.
You see, infidelity, lack of communication, they all link
they all link up together.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
So if I'm at the point of, okay, I want my marriage to work, and my partner has that same goal, definitely it's going to work.
Yeah.
Even when she offends me, I'll be able to say it to her. When she observes I'm not doing certain things right, she will talk to me.
Yeah.
Then there will be corrections. There will be apology.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't deliberate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It wasn't intentional. Then we make amends.
Yeah.
Then we go ahead. We go on.
Yeah.
Then if I observe anything, she'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. I never intend to do that. Then you believe when she says she's sorry, it is natural.
It is natural.
She meant it.
She meant it.
When he said he's sorry, he meant it.
He meant it
Then you guys will just smile at it. I know you will make corrections. That's all. Then you forge ahead.
Thank you very much, Dedon.
Thank
nice
you,
having you
FROWS.
on the show today.
You're welcome, my brother.
And our conversation today is about communication in marriage. Communication breakdown in marriage leads to divorce. Our topic, our episode throughout this whole month has been about marriage.
Relationship.
Things that leads to divorce, relationship, partnership, courtship. Things you should discuss with your partner before hoping or thinking that you would want to engage them. Marriage different, no. When I go shop Kano, when I stop all this thing that they do, when I go shop Kano. But anyway, if communication is our goal, we need to focus more on the other person's words, ideas, and value than ourselves. Nothing in relationship is much sweeter than communication.
Oh, yes.
If you sit back, relax, and reflect on the beauty of your relationship right now, you would see it is what it has been till now due to either lack of communication or an act of effective one. Two things here.
Oh, yes.
If your marriage or relationship now is either going sweeter or sour, anyway, it's still communication.
Oh, yes.
Either you are lacking communication or communication is effective.
It's in place.
Is in place there.
Oh, yes.
So now, for effective communication, how to amend communication in relationship, and things to notice, and things you could avoid, and things possibly you should start working on for yourself. One, listen to understand. The problem with the person listening is simply waiting to counter on your argument instead of finding a good ground to reflect and talk and ask questions. And while being explained to, still find a good ground to reflect and possibly let the moment pass and recall to reshuffle the conversation once again.
Oh, yes.
What do I mean there? I meant when you realize this person want to communicate with you, and you noticed that the approach of the communication, that's also communication.
Oh, yes.
The approach of the communication, you know yourself. You are the one receiving the energy. You know what will come out of you.
Oh, yes.
Will not be what that person expects for the moment.
Oh, yes.
Relax. That's where patience comes in. Relax. Relax. But don't let that relationship goes undone, unsettled.
Oh, yes.
Relax. Let the moment pass. You know, you realize from the conversation, from their communication, from their hunger, the energy is going down. Before they said 5, 6, 5, 10, now 3, 2. Before you see that, don't go drink water. Let the moment pass. Then you now call back on them that where you come, Mo will settle the matter now.
Yeah.
At that time, their energy of giddy has gone down. Now, you do not have the upper hand to now counter them, but have the upper hand to now rediscuss what they meant from the whole argument.
Oh, yes.
That is where patience comes in.
Oh, yes.
That is where God comes in into a relationship. Because when you take God out of your relationship, you're taking the Holy Spirit, who is our helper, out of the whole equation. And when you take the Holy Spirit, who is our helper, out of the whole relationship, you are welcoming that other guy.
Oh, yes.
That one with blackface. And you know that one, he can talk. That guy can talk.
Not only that he talks, he'll be giving you naughty suggestions.
Yes, that guy can. Yes.
While he's talking to you from
ideas.
here, terrible suggestion will be coming on the other side.
On the other side.
Then something will be popping up within you that you can do this, you can do that. In fact, he can even venture into argument with you when you don't want to go along with his decisions.
And you came back to settle that matter because you feel you are ready now in your own state, but not knowing that guy with blackface. He sit down near you, say don't worry, I will ginger something.
Waiting she talk, you won't take that one.
So you mean what this person just said
how
now?
your husband talk to you, you think say that one right?
So the one you said for like 1 hour, she was quiet. She was not talking. Now that she wants to talk to you, you want to start telling her you understand.
Yes.
You two don't talk.
Don't agree with her. Don't agree with her.
That's where God needs to come into our relationship, which James spoke about here. Quick to listen, but don't be quick to speak.
Oh, yes.
Always listen to people, digest their words, help them to understand it to the extent they may not even understand it.
You refine it.
Refine it. That's why we have the word refine. Refine it. Somebody might say, see, there is a difference between asking you a question or questioning you.
Oh, yes.
Two different things. I may ask you a question,
of course,
but I may start questioning you.
When you ask me a question, you are expecting a response and answer.
And
well, when you start questioning me, you don't you demand forcefully.
I demand an answer. Number 2, effective way for communication, which we need to notice for effective relationship or marriages. Do not dismiss. You have every right to disagree, but do not dismiss. Nobody likes to have their opinion dismissed. It feels very disrespectful and open up an anger in their brain to get defensive, and they will attack back, which is human behavior.
Which is natural.
It's natural. So if you're a man out there, you're speaking in uncultured manner with your partner, and you expect them to just sit there and listen to you. No. You see, there is something in our brain that would fight back.
Definitely.
That would reject that attack.
Oh, yes.
And want to be defensive. It is normal. It is natural.
Normal.
That does not mean, that's when men would now say, you don't respect. I'm saying 1, you are saying 5.
How can she respect when her opinion doesn't count?
No, she can't respect
when his opinion doesn't count, when they talk and you ignore them, when they talk and you hold their discussion, their opinion with less values, how do you expect them to respect you?
Their reaction there defensively is not for them, they are not trying to attack you or disrespect you. It is in human nature.
It is natural. Their instinct will tell them.
Where this person is pushing you to is not where you should be. They would want to, why are you talking to me this way?
It's a natural instinct.
They are not disrespecting you. It's still a form of communication.
Oh, yes.
What they are trying to tell you is that you are going too far with your words.
That is it.
You are hurting me with your words.
Hurting me, hurting my feelings.
Hurting my feelings with your
my
words.
integrity.
It is nature. Nothing spiritual about that.
No,
It is
not at
nature.
all. Not at all.
It's how the brain is formed, generating from plug of ego, which is wired in every aspect of our lives. Always allow your partner opinions count, and in doing so, you would go far in your relationships.
Oh, yes.
This is where the first key, number one, comes in play: listening to understand. And recall the situation when the old negative energy in the air is calmed down, and allow positive energy steps in. Never sweep away an unfolded conversation until there is a clarity on a ground of fact,
Oh, yes.
truth,
Oh, yes.
and understanding.
Oh, yes.
Number three, be open and honest. So being open and honest, this is where it comes in. All it takes is one lie to ruin a relationship.
Not more than one.
Just one lie. Because the moment you lie in a relationship, you have to keep on lying to cover the rest. You must keep on lying.
Even when you choose to speak the truth, how are you sure the person is going to believe you?
It's going to
Because of the
believe
former
you
lie.
Because of the former lie. Hey, this one had you. I have lied when I met this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I told him that I've only had one relationship.
Mm-hmm.
This man built an idea of this woman
Mm-hmm.
in his mind that she's only been with one man.
None.
So now, in that aspect, you're telling him to be a man who can handle a woman who does not have much knowledge of relationship.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Now,
yes.
1
Oh,
year
yes.
down the line, when the man is now thinking of getting married to this woman who does not have much knowledge of a man, trying to reinstall his own idea of what a man should be into this woman before heading into marriage. Now, you are now in marriage. Husband can't realize, say, I thought you said that it's only one relationship you had before you met me. All of a sudden, your exes are checking up on you in the marriage. You posted one happy birthday on your status few days ago. Your husband asked you that, who is the guy you posted yesterday? That was wonderful. You told your husband, or in a relationship, your husband to be, oh, that is a friend of mine. I knew him 2 years ago. We had we had a relationship for like 6 months. I knew him, but he's still a good person. He's still a good friend. You now want your husband to understand and accept the idea that you have
Just one person.
just one person. For him to now start getting used to the idea that there are multiples of guys you've known before him.
You see, that is where, you see, deception set in.
Deception again, Abi.
You have to be truthful. When you are not truthful, that means you are deceptive. If I am not truthful, that means I'm deceptive. I can't tell you I'm neutral.
Yeah.
So it's either I speak the truth or I lie. So it's better I speak the truth, then you know me with that.
And build your idea of love for me
Based on the truth I told
I
you.
love that. I love that one.
Then if you start making different discoveries about me, how am I going to tell you, okay, I'm sorry about that. This, it doesn't go that way. That only happened. Probably I forgot. If you discover another one, will I tell you I forgot to tell you?
You just hint me with a conversation I had with someone a couple of years ago. She was about to get married to this person, and then we had a discussion over it because she feels I could give her ideas of what it entails in that aspect. And she asked me, she told me that there are things the man still does not know about her. So what do I think? Do I think she should tell
Him those things.
So my question first would be, what kinds of things?
Oh, yes.
I should not just conclude that,
Just go ahead.
I needed to know, to be sure if there are sensitive things she could keep away or things she should tell. So she told me about possibly former relationships, like there are things about herself, a personal career and all that, that she has an amount of money in a bank account which the man does not know. Should she tell the man now, she's had this amount in her account for close to 2 years they've been dating, but she didn't tell him because she felt it's not necessary. You know what I told her?
All right.
I said to her that the man loved you, built an idea of love for you within that 2 years for what he already knows about you.
Oh, yes.
Then number 4, don't make conversation all about you. When you're making the conversation all about you, then you're not considering the other partner.
Oh, yes.
When it comes to communication, it shouldn't be just about me anymore, because you've accepted to be in a relationship with this person. From the day you entered into a relationship with a man, get to understand that your 6 a.m. you used to wake up may not be 6 a.m. anymore, because now you have someone you are subject to.
Oh.
You told, I'm ready to enter a relationship with you, that would ask you, why is it 6 a.m.? Which no one was able to ask you in the first place, because you were not entitled to open your mouth or tell anyone how you live your life.
Oh, yes.
But we need to understand that the moment you go into communication, you are not just oneself now. That's why God spoke about communication, about relationship in marriage. You are not one now. You are not one, one now. You are both together, 1 and 2, 1. So whatever I do in aspect of life, I need to be able to communicate it with you. If I drove out today and I saw something out there, either bad or good, I should be able to communicate the ones that I know would be relevant to you.
Oh, yes.
I don't think it is proper for a man to step out there and come back home and tell his wife, if you see the buttons we are seeing for town today,
Oh, my God.
come on, although we say communicate with your wife, does not mean you should insult your partner in such a manner.
No, if she says that to you,
If your woman says that to you, that I went out today and do you know how many men that spoke to me today? Men were just all around me. How would you feel?
oh, yes.
So that's why we need to understand that there are still things we should hold to ourselves in communication. So with the lady, I told her, if you know that you want to jeopardize your relationship you have now, that is leading into marriage, for him to get to know stuff you've hidden away from him for the past 2 years of the relationship. He didn't know you had you bought a safe bond in a bank. He didn't know your modalities of relationship you've had in the past. He didn't know how certain things you kept away that made him love you and want to get married to you. And you feel that honesty is when you want to be totally open to him. Be ready for a new man out of him. Be ready to meet a new man. That's what we need to understand and need to know as well. Because during communication, a guy met you today and start communicating with you and asked you, how is your last relationship? Perhaps you told him you just left a relationship or you just broke up with your ex during whatever happened. That's why you let him understand. That's why you're giving him the avenue for communication. That is good. So you're letting the man knows that you are not a woman who will be in a relationship and still be paying attention to another man. So now he knows you're out of a relationship. Now, there are things about your past relationship you should not discuss with him in the first instance. So he get to ask you, why did you leave your former boyfriend? It's not a good thing and it's not healthy for a man mental state. In a conversations like, I left him because he was beating me. I left him because he said I couldn't have sex. I left him because I don't like sex. I left him because there were issues like he couldn't take care of me. And you are telling that to another guy. And in your opinion, you felt that the man would love you out of pity. He would take pity on you that you've suffered in your former relationship, so it should be better. No, you are actually telling the guy who you are as a woman that made the former guy left you.
Oh, yes.
So in communication, we need to understand there are things that are too sensitive to lay on the table.
Oh, yes.
Those are yours. Keep it to yourself. Don't tell that in a relationship. Keep it to yourself.
And when you realize you are at fault at certain situations, make corrections.
Work on yourself. Work on yourself. Those things you've experienced in your former relationship, in your past, are not to be discussed in your new relationship, but they were experiences that you should work on yourself for them not to repeat themselves again in your new relationship.
Oh, yes.
A guy just met you asking you your finance life or how how your communication skills was in your former relationship, and you're telling a guy, as for you, you like when men call you, you don't like to. You're already telling a man that. I'm not good in calling people. You're already telling a man who is picking interest in you.
Who will do the calling for
So
you?
who will do the calling for you? So we need to be honest in ourselves and also in our relationships as well. So that's why you don't make the conversations all about you. Consider the person, the two of you. And number 5, pay attention to body language. We spoke about body language.
Oh yes.
Body language comes in form of communication.
It can come in any way.
And it's communication. You called your partner a few minutes ago. You called them twice, and you know when you were first entering into that relationship, before they see your missed call, they are calling back.
Oh yes.
But 6 months down the relationship, now you call 3 times before they return one call. Check on that relationship.
Oh yes.
Check.
Oh yes.
Don't ignore. Check it.
No,
check
something is not right.
Something is that's language too as well. That's communication too as well.
That's negligence.
They are telling you something. That's negligence. They are telling you something.
I can call it carefree attitude.
They are telling you something.
So that means you are not as important as you used to be.
You used to be anymore. That's communication.
Oh yes.
That's communication. You step out there as a man. Your spouse used to check up on you. How are things going? She knows when to call. She does not interfere. We're not saying because we say it's okay for you to check up on your partner, they want to bombard them with calls. Some men don't like that. Let's understand them there.
Oh, yes.
Let's respect them there.
Oh yes.
So that's where communication plays a major role.
Oh yes.
Wonderful factors in relationship. When you guys were courting each other, it's not when you are in a marriage. Your husband will now come and be telling you, I don't like it when I'm in town. You are calling me up and down. How was she calling you in a relationship?
Oh, man.
You were embracing it during a relationship. She will call you. You even leave
Then
the
why
meeting.
has the whole thing changed?
Why has the whole thing changed now? You are in a meeting, a relationship. She would call you. You would rather put the meeting
on
hold to talk to your girlfriend. Now you are married to her. You are not telling her, I was in a meeting. Why you
You should understand I was in a meeting.
She can never understand you because you used to be in a meeting, in a relationship.
Oh yes.
And you would entertain her.
Oh my God.
Right there in front of your colleagues. Why has everything changed now? So we need to check our relationship skills because relationship breakdown is one of the factors that leads to divorce in marriages.
Of course.
And which is wrong, which I feel we, man and a woman, are the cause of that.
No, of course, we are the cause.
Not devil.
No, we are responsible.
Yeah, for that, not devil. Not devil. We need to pay attention to body language, and also improving communication in a relationship means you must not just pay attention to words. Some are good with body languages, signs, behavior, attitudes, facial expression, which we've spoken about. All these are not as bad as people speculate it.
No.
Some we've spoken about it. Some like to just give you. Have we forgotten how our parents used to speak to us back then? If visitors comes to my house and you want to start doing some things you shouldn't do in front of visitors, for your parent not to come and disgrace themselves, telling you to leave them because they've told you once, twice. The third one will be like, it's like there is no discipline in this house. Your parent will give you a look. And those look, we were not told what each look stands for.
No,
but
naturally you understand.
You understand what those look stands for.
Naturally you understand.
These are forms of communication.
When you see this downward, sideways look, you know what it means. When she smiles at you, hey,
you know what it means. These are forms of communication which we should pay attention to. This is the first podcast. Divorce is not a good thing. Divorce is not a good thing. But in order to avoid divorce, these are signs we should effectively look into during relationship before we head into yes I do with your 6 feet cake and your glamorous celebration. Divorce is not a good thing. Divorce is not healthy. Divorce is not suitable. Divorce is not a testimony. I've never seen anyone climbing an altar saying, I want to give glory to God, I finally divorced.
No.
I've never heard such a testimony before.
No.
I've never heard before. Is it there?
No. Divorce?
Divorce. Hey,
What-
the old church will tell they will have the mic.
What is a pride, or what is a pride in divorce?
They will have the whole mic from the studio room at the church. But to avoid divorce, these are things we should pay attention to. Let's have effective communication in our
Oh,
relationships,
yes.
which also we've spoken about in some of our videos online. We've spoken about infidelity. Of course, a man would cheat, a woman would cheat when there is lack of communication,
Lack of commitment.
lack of commitment. And the commitment also leads to communication.
That is it. When
Because it's a man
there's
who is-
commitment,
when
there will
there's
be
When
communications.
there's commitment, there will be communication. Let's give a vital approach to communication
yes.
in our relationships. It's very important. Don't let us keep communication out of our relationship. It is very,
I
very
love that vital approach.
A very, very vital approach. Thank you. Very, very, very important. This is the FROWS podcast, the voice of the people.